I'll call to order the City Council meeting for October 28th, 2021. Everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call.
Steve Cherney is absent. Kevin Kadada. Here. Tim Rude.
Here.
Cindy Fuhr.
Here.
And Scott Palava.
Here.
Okay, tonight's agenda goes through 10C. Any additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda?
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion by Councilman Kadada.
Second.
Second by Councilman Palava. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of minutes, consider approval of the minutes from the October 14th, 2021 regular meeting. Any additions, deletions, or corrections to the minutes?
I move we approve the minutes as presented.
Motion by Councilperson Fuhr.
Second.
Second by Councilman Palava. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have one hearing tonight. Call to order. Notice of hearing a proposed assessment. Notice is hereby given that the City Council will meet at 7 p.m. or shortly thereafter on October 28th, 2021 in the City Council Chambers, 415 Central Street West, to consider and possibly adopt proposed assessments for delinquent accounts owed to the City of Lonsdale. The following is other information that is statutorily required to be contained in this notice. The properties proposed to be assessed are those with delinquent accounts owed to the City of Lonsdale. The total amount of the proposed assessment is $2,363.25. Such assessments are proposed to be payable with the 2022 property taxes. To the payment, interest shall be added on the entire assessment from the date of the assessment resolution until December 31st, 2022. The proposed assessment roll is on file with the City Administrator at City Hall, 415 Central Street West. Written and oral objections will be considered. No appeal may be taken as to the amount of any assessment unless a signed objection is filed with the City Administrator prior to the hearing or presented to the presiding officer at the meeting. An appeal to District Court may be made by serving upon notice the Mayor or City Administrator within 30 days after adoption of the assessment and filing such notice, notice with the District Court within 10 days after service upon the Mayor or City Clerk, and you are not entitled to the possibility of a deferment established pursuant thereto in Statute 435.193 to 435.195. Mr. Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. As Mayor Rude just said, this is an assessment hearing for delinquent accounts. The amount proposed to be assessed consists of a fire call of $500, abatement of tall weeds and grass, $1,148, and then abatement of nuisances, snow and ice, $215.25. Since the hearing was published, the proposed amount of assessments was $1,863.25. We did have one, property owner pay the past due amount. So that amount has been updated, and I believe that the council should have a copy of the new assessment roll. It's like $1,700 in some change. We did have, and it's was provided to you on the table prior to the meeting. We did have one proposed property owner being assessed object to his assessment. So I'm anticipating that he will speak on his behalf. Otherwise, there were no written or verbal comments received by staff.
Okay, it's a public hearing, so anybody's able to speak. That would be your opportunity. Okay, would you want to come up to the podium, please? Sure.
So, my name is Stephen Hillegas. I live at 106 Hawaii Street, and it was probably about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, we had basically a friendly neighborhood bonfire, and we were basically burning old like wooden chairs, a table and stuff, and we used to burn stuff on the Tupi's property right there along Main Street. I've since learned that Tupi's have sold that property, and it's not Loomis, it's somebody else now. But they sold it, but we've always burnt stuff there, and always have burnt stuff there. So we had a fire, there was like 8 of us out there. Someone from down the road who couldn't even see the fire calls in a structure fire, which if we all know if someone calls in a structure fire, the fire department's code had come out, right? It's not a structure fire, that clearly it was a false report. There's no structure on fire, so I don't know, I mean, fire department, when they showed up, could have just turned around and left. There was no structure fire. But they got out and then said, well, since we're here, I said, well, do we need to put it out? What's going on? They said, well, since we're here now, we have to put it out. I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. We've hosed everything down, we checked fire things. He's like, well, if you got a $5 permit, we wouldn't even be out here. You just called in and we would just not even been out here.
Right.
I'm like,
That's right.
okay, so, you know, now I'm getting a $500 bill and I wasn't even issued a citation for a city ordinance violation.
Well, just to clear, or so we have a copy here. It looks like you were cited a violation. Is that
Stephen
not-
Hilligas is?
Is this something, or is this something else? Jordan or Jason?
This is just information that was provided to me by the fire chief and the police chief.
Okay, so this is not a citation, just a summary?
I haven't paid any fines.
I'm just, you know, it just says that he was advised he would be cited for illegal burning.
Right. But
Okay,
So whether it was followed through or not, I guess I don't know. This is the information that I was provided.
okay.
So the only,
What's it? Sorry. Police chief?
Yeah, it was another individual that was cited. The individual that was at the fire that brought the furniture, the household items, and burned them. He was one of them that was cited.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So, you're right, you weren't cited, the other guy was, okay.
okay, so I mean,
Yeah.
but that's the
Okay.
thing. So like, I don't get a citation and now my property is being assessed and not, I mean, no one else. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand how a fraudulent call leads to, I mean, I could be sitting on my deck and every time I see smoke in the air, just calling structure fire and have the fire department go out 16 times a day if I wanted to. I mean, that's in essence what this lady did at 127 Hawaii Street. And we had a hose out there, we offered to put the fire out. If the police had just driven by and seen us illegally burning something, they wouldn't have not dispatched the fire department to come put the fire out. They would have said, hey, put the fire out, here's your ticket. But because of a fraudulent call, I mean, I can't call in a fake police, you know, report. That's illegal. You know what I mean? I can't call in a fake crime to the police department, having them respond just as a wild goose chase, and then not anything happen. I'm not looking for something that happened to the person that called in. She was trying to take care of her community. I appreciate that, but she had no knowledge of what was going on, couldn't even see the fire. 127 Hawaii Street isn't even in line of where the fire was.
Well,
So she-
all right, a couple of the fire chief unfortunately is not here, and he's, seems to be pretty adamant about this according to his letter. It says here that you admitted starting the fire, is that
I said, no,
correct?
they said, how do you guys start the fire? I said, we put gas on it. He said, who lit the fire? I said, my 16-year-old son lit the fire.
Have you talked to the fire chief about this at
I
all?
actually called and left a voicemail, never got a phone call back. I mean, we even called, like, we even did, like, because we were in that spell where things were dry and stuff, we even, like, before we even burnt anything, we're like, okay, what are fire conditions? And we went out and we hosed the grass down. I mean, like, every time I've ever done that. And then when we were done burning, we even raked it all up and threw all the stuff that was, like, non-burnable away. I mean, it's not like I leave trash and stuff in my community.
No, I appreciate that, it just, you know, probably unfortunately didn't spend the $5 for a permit, you know.
Well, I
that's-
no one even knew about a
Well,
$5
here,
permit.
so
And
first
I never
of all,
needed one
you're-
before.
You're referring to a DNR burning permit?
Right.
DNR burning permit forbids burning any items that are not organic. So painted wood, I have it right here.
Okay, it would've been
Painted
wood
wood or
like this.
paper, plastic or other prohibited materials are garbage. So the box spring automatically is a violation, so
Okay.
your burning permit would no longer be valid.
Okay, I
what-
didn't even know about the burning permit, you know what I mean?
Yep,
So,
what's the city ordinance on recreational fire size?
It says here 3x3.
3x3?
okay, police chief did tell us 5 by 5 by 5.
Well, you're over that, and you were.
Right, and I,
But-
100% honest with what we're doing, I'm
Yeah.
not saying that, I'm
Yeah.
saying that the fact that the fire department came out because there was a false claim. I'm not disputing that we didn't have a fire, I mean, we had a fire. That's not what's in question.
Yeah.
And we realize that we're not allowed to do that anymore, and we're not going to do that, but it was a fraudulent call as far as a structure on fire. Fire department would not have came to the scene if a structure fire was not called in.
If a fire was called in, they would have came there. Any sort of fire.
Well, it was called in as a structure fire.
But any sort of fire, they would have still came there.
Grass fire,
Right, grass,
structure
tar,
fire,
anything.
anything, yeah, they don't, yeah. Someone assumed it was a structure fire,
Right.
just based on the,
And we can all still assume on the board, I mean,
well,
Right.
Well, I'm saying, they don't just go to structure fires, they go to all sorts of.
Well, I understand that they go to all sorts of
So-
fires,
so
but
I-
if the person that walked out there and saw a group of people around a bonfire, do you think they would have called a fire?
Right, I mean,
I think according to the note here, what Councilman Palava brought up a good point. So you were burning prohibited materials besides.
There was a box spring, and we told them what we burned in there, and it was wooden furniture, and like, because a box spring is basically wood, it has one little polyester thing on it. And so, I mean,
Understand, I know.
you know, I mean, that's, we're not out there burning mattresses and rugs and clothing and garbage and, you know, plastic
No,
stink.
I understand, I just, I was just looking for clarification.
No, I
Because that's-
completely- I
Yeah, the
appreciate
$5
that.
permit is not, you know, isn't even on, that, you know, it was,
It was
it-
mostly stuff like this.
no.
Broken, you know what I mean? Like, you got a broken kitchen chair and a broken kitchen table.
No, I get it. I was just for clarification, because technically that is illegal, because it's finished.
Okay.
Painted or finished, you know, a burning permit, I know this is a moot point, but a burning permit is only allowed for the burning of clean vegetative matter.
Okay.
So, that being said, that's one aspect that's off the table, we don't even have to deal with that. But if the fire was excessive size, just, you know, based on what city code is,
But, I mean,
so it was a violation, and
okay,
I
and
mean,
that, that's fine.
the
and-
fire chief makes the decision if, you know, to bring it into compliance.
Well,
He's in
that's
charge
why
of
I'm
the
here
scene.
talking about it.
Because here,
It's a difference of opinion, you know what I mean?
Well,
My idea of a controlled fire is someone that's out there responsibly taking care of the fire and has a hose and has the stuff ready to, you know, deal with the fire. And it was a controlled fire, and it was a contained fire.